Okay, we are live. How you going? Hey, Cole, how are you? Good to see you. Luba, good to see you. Haven't seen you in so long.
Oh, yeah.
How are things? How's the coronavirus? Give us an update.
Everything is good, and it's getting, from one hand, it's getting worse because we have more cases, but from other hand, it's people can't wait. Like the next Monday is the day when they say that we're going to be out on this, to be free, and everybody is really excited about that because you can see that people are start walking. They can't stay home anymore. They like the groceries are like yesterday was a big holiday. It was 1st of May. It was Labor Day. So usually people go to big like festivals and they have picnics and they have like shish kebabs and etc. barbecues. And yesterday I seen that the shop were stuffed with like everything for the barbecue. So I don't know, either going to be really bad that it will increase the numbers or it will be fine. So for today we have 11,411 cases, 1,498 people recovered, 279 people died, and deaths, it's 329 tested cases. In Kyiv and region, it's about 2,241. Nikolaev is 140, and Kharkov is 311. So this is for today. Unfortunately, we got like about 500, 600 cases every day. Honestly, they say that we have big potential of like open up on 11th of May. I don't see, according to the numbers, I don't see how it happened, but we hope for best. We wish everybody health. And hello, guys. Thank you for joining. We have very interesting topic for you today.
Yes. Okay. So we get often we'd ask quite often how much it actually costs to come over to Ukraine, and it depends. Like if you're coming over to date, there's like the gamut is so wide of what it can cost. You can do it on next to nothing. I mean, we know guys that have come over here and taken like $22 a night apartments in like terrible parts of the city, and we know guys that have gone to the penthouse and stayed in the penthouse apartment. So it all varies, but we want to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what it can cost, and this is kind of an average idea. So you could do it cheaper, but you want to allow for what we're going to say in this video here. You can also do it much more expensive as well, but we have a method that we think is the best way to do this, and it's not using many of the other companies that you might see out there. So we cover all of that in our course, and with our product, which is Heart Rocket, which is the support, the course, everything like that goes with it. We're not going to talk too much about that at the moment, but we are thinking about doing a live video for that next Saturday. So subscribe, tune in, and we will talk about that. Okay. So
before you start, can I say hello to Mama? Mama is watching. She's just saying after the video with Borscht, she's just now follow all our lives. Unfortunately, her English is not that bad, but it would be nice. Mama, привет.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. Привет, Mama. Okay, so we've made kind of like a story. So instead of saying you're going to spend this on apartments, this on hotels, this on transportation, we've made a little story of a guy, and hopefully you can sort of relate to it, and it puts it into a little bit more context. So we've written a plan for a guy to come over here for, we've said 12 days, but it's actually 14 days if you count a day either side. So he's going to get here and he's going to go crazy and he's going to date, if you want to do it that way. So this guy's name is John for some reason. So John decides to travel to two cities, and Kharkov and Dnipro. He contacts the agencies before he goes and sets up 10 dates in these two cities, so 5 in each city. So he knows before he goes over. So this is important. I just want to throw this in there. He's not coming over here to do some blind dating. He's not going to one of these companies where you go to a room and then you've got to wonder who you're meeting and you've got no idea. He's already most likely communicated with these ladies before he's gone. They're interested in meeting him. He's interested in meeting them. That's an important thing to think about beforehand. So in the first city, he stays in a hotel that costs $70 per night. It's in the city centre, so he doesn't have to worry about getting around and taxis and things like that. The only thing he's got to worry about is getting his date to come and meet him, so in the centre of the city. So he's going to have to pay for that. But you should always be organizing the place to go and date anyway. So you guys should know that by now. The hotel includes breakfast. And the good thing about staying in a hotel for your first part of your trip is you have help there. So you've got the help desk or the concierge at the front of the hotel. So if you get stuck or anything's going wrong, they're there to help. So it is recommended if you've never traveled before to do that. Okay, this first agency that he's working with, they charge $75 per introduction. He has 5 set up in that city over the next 6 days. For all of the dates, he's going to be having a kind of like a low-key meetup. He's going to be meeting for coffee or for a drink in the evening, something like that. Maybe just a casual lunch or nothing crazy anyway. Not like some fancy dinner where he's trying to impress her. It's a casual meeting to see if he wants to spend more time with her and vice versa. He will have to get the taxi, of course. So there is that cost as well to get her to the place where you're going to meet. Of these 5 dates, after these 5 dates, he has 3 more dates in the city that were not first dates. So second dates, third dates, they cost more than the first date because you're doing something that's a little bit more special, a little bit more interesting, such as like horseback riding, maybe a fancy dinner, whatever, go to a concert, something like that. While he's in the city himself, he wants to see some things that's going on there. So he goes to a museum and maybe visits a couple of other things just to get to know Ukraine, because he's not just interested in dating, he's interested in the culture as well, and that's something that we push quite firmly as well because we think it's important. On day 6, he's had enough of dating in that city, and he goes to the next city where he's got another 5 dates that's set up. But instead of staying in a hotel this time, he decides to stay in an apartment. It's cheaper than the hotel, but it means that he has to buy other things like breakfasts, and he may have to Uber to the city as well. In the city, the agency that he's chosen to work with, also he has to pay $75 per introduction. So it's only for the first date you pay the $75. After that, you don't pay for any more dates, in case you guys are wondering that. And he has 5 first dates and then 3 other not first dates, if that makes sense. Again, he decides to do some activities by himself. All up, he pays for 6 meals by himself and 6 meals with his partner. That's the same on the first city as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. He also has to pay for 6 breakfasts in the second part of the city because he's not at a hotel, he's at an apartment. After 6 days, he has to fly home. So he gets the train back to the airport and he flies home. In both cities, he's buying some flowers and some gifts and some little bits and pieces. So hopefully that makes a bit more sense for you guys that have never been over there before. That's what someone did. And it's a pretty standard sort of way of doing it, I guess, if you were going to go to smaller agencies. So what does that cost? Luba?
Striker, it's like we have let me cover some prices. Like before that, like the guys are discussing open up the borders and the airports. Honestly, there is no official information. That's why we don't want to spread any information that is not confirmed. I do have people, because I sometimes translate for Odessa National Airport, and I do know people there, but I heard that they say that something gonna happen in June, but of course, until government announce it, like there's nothing gonna happen. We're not gonna know anything, and we can just guess. So I think it's a little bit not right to discuss it and give empty hopes to somebody. We're all open for that. I just seen an interview today that from our celebrities. They were doing the interview and they're really shocked because all of them, like summer, it's such a busy season, they have a lot of concerts, and they like kind of the way they talk, it's obvious that they're going to be no concerts and not big meetup events for next, I don't know how many months, but not in near future. So this is all I can tell. Another thing that I want to mention, Kyle said that apartment always are better option, more flexibility. I do agree with that when you come to Ukraine, not for the first time. So this video is mostly for the guys who are coming for the first time, who are just thinking about coming, and they compare pricing to go on their own with the pricing maybe to go on a tour, or maybe like to come with some setup plan. So if you come for the first time, I recommend to stay at the hotel. As Striker mentioned, you got help, you got support from like concierge, you have breakfast, like you always have somebody to ask for, and also like you need to get to know the area, because like even Kyiv, it has like central street, it has safe areas, and even in center it can be some small lane that is really not very nice to get back at night, and you better just like explore for the first time, stay at the hotel, even it costs a little bit more, but you are more safe. For the second time, of course, Apartment is on your choice. There's hundreds of on Airbnb and etc. So about price, about our John. So we not include flight because of course all of you are coming from different places, and the flight can vary. If you fly from New York to Kiev, it can be $600 round trip, and if you fly from LA, it can be $1,500. So it's just different pricing. And about taxi. So usually taxi cost, Striker was a little bit disagree with me, but I like our prices are average, right? Estimates, yeah.
Estimates,
So it's estimate. We can't say like 100% because Uber ride can cost $3. The Uber ride can cost $5, and it can cost 10. So we take it like not an extreme, because some people can stay much further. So $10 approximately. So we think that during his 2 weeks, you took 2 weeks or 12 days.
Well, 12 days of sort of actual action,
right?
But yeah, 14 days because one day they decide to fly out and fly in.
So we will say that estimate quantity is 30 rides. 30 rides by $10 is $300. Then intercity transportation. John needs to get from Kiev to Kharkov, from Kharkov to Dnipro, and from Dnipro back to Kharkov, to Kiev, because he fly out of Kiev. Of course, some guys prefer to take a cab, like take a taxi. It's more expensive. It can start from $100, but we decide that John will travel by train or bus. So it's going to be 3 rides. Each of them approximately cost $25, so $75 for intercity transportation. Then hotel average, we put like $75 per night, but again, it's up to you guys. You can stay in some luxury hotel that will cost $200 a night. You can stay cheaper one, and it's up to you, but 75 is average. For 7 nights, it's $525. Apartment, also for 7 nights.
That's for the second
about
city.
50. It's for the second city, yeah.
So the first city, we decided to stay in a hotel. Second,
in a hotel. Yeah, and Striker, like how much apartment can cost? Apartment can be also different. It can start from like $20.
Yeah, so and it's also like, I guess, who you're like, if you have maybe a contact or something like that. But if you go on to say Airbnb, something like that, you can get in Kiev, which is probably the most expensive place. You can get a nice apartment for around $50, something like that. So yeah, I've stayed in ones for like 40, which was still nice. It was just a good deal that I managed to get. And I've stayed in ones that were like 90, and the one that was 90 was nowhere near twice as good as the one that was 40 or 50. So
yeah, and also it depends. Like Kiev is one, but for example, I was talking to our partners in Belarus, not in Minsk, in another city, and she said that apartments, like nice apartment, will cost 35 euros. So let's say it's like $40. And okay, then breakfast and lunch. According to that 7 days he's gonna stay in a hotel and he will have breakfast there, we put there 14. So like it's including lunch, and like sometimes guys don't like to have breakfast, so approximately lunch for him would cost about $20. Of course, like it's a big lunch, or brunch and breakfast and lunch. So 14 of them by $20 is $220. Dinners, we put there 12 dinners, about $40. That it's $480. We also put snacks and drinks, but it's obviously it's up to the guy, like if you need some water, but it's really very cheap. Then first dates. Okay, first dates. 10 dates as the first ones. So the guys who are doing our course, they know that we want guys to go on the first date just for coffee or some dessert, not like a big meal and staying there for 15 hours. So it's about $40, for the first date, and it's 10 of them, so it's 400. Other dates gonna be, we count like 6. As Striker mentioned, it's if you want to go with a day with a lady on the second date, or third date, and etc. It can be $80, and it's more because you can go somewhere to the concert, to the different entertainment, and it's 180 as well. Then introduction fee. So we say that John is dating 10 first dates he has. It's first introduction fee. It's about $75. It's also average, because some agencies charge 50, somebody 100, but definitely it shouldn't be more than $100. and interpreter. You're gonna need an interpreter. We think that John will need about 20 hours of interpreter. We put the price $17 because some cities charge $15 and other cities charge 20. So average, like not average. Am I saying the right word?
Average, yes.
Yeah, like approximately, right? Okay, so it's $17, 340. So total for everything included, accommodation, transportation, dates, food, entertainment, things for himself, because also like we put here $300 for his entertainment. Like if you want to go ahead.
I was going to say, like, what would it cost? Like, because for the second date, or even just if he's doing something by himself, going to a museum or going to do something, what would those things cost? Or even like something interesting for the, for a second date or something like
that. Interesting.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me say the pricing. So I put an amount of $300 here in our pricing. I just don't see. Do we have it here? It should be just 1 second. Yeah, we do have it. So we put there in a budget like $300 if he wants to do something on his own, like to go to museum, take some guiding or whatever, or some expense, maybe he needs some gift or something. So totally this trip, including everything and giving you unlimited independence and flexibility, will cost you how much, Striker?
Approximately $4,280. So $4,200, $4,300. Something like that. So that's kind of what we work it out to be. And this is really just, it's another approach to going over and dating. Like there are tours that you can do, which cost roughly about the same sort of price, but kind of, well, not really, because with a tour, you still have to pay for your dates, dinners, and all that sort of stuff. So you have that expense as well. It's obviously all included. But I guess the biggest thing is, and this is something that we're very passionate about, is that if you're going over to Ukraine, then you should know who you're going to go and meet, as opposed to going to like one of these tours where you don't know anyone. And even though like you may look at that and you go, well, he's only dating 10 ladies. If I go on a tour, I can date as many as I want. And I kind of like relate this to the buffet mentality. When you go to a restaurant that has a buffet and it's not the best food, but you want to get your money's worth, so you like eat as much of food as you can until you feel terrible just because you've paid for it. And that's kind of what I believe that some of these tours are like. Guys go on like 2-3 dates a day. It's like, for what? Like you have no idea. When you go on the date, you're waiting for that spark. At least if you know who you're going to go and meet before you actually go there, you've already got something that you've thought about and you're thinking, I hope that date number 4, the lady that Svetlana, I've got a good feeling. Like you've got something to start off with. But just doing the blind dating thing, like we're very much against that, mainly because I went and did it and it was an absolutely terrible idea. I'll just answer some questions here. I see some piling in.
Get it before you're reading. Like I have one that I really want to say. There's guys asking like how you can have a lunch for $40, how you can like Milan, and there's other guy. Honestly, like with our course, we provide a list of restaurants that we do recommend and a blacklist also, as you may know. And but the places to go, of course, if you ask the girl, like we want what we want from our guys. We want our guys to be certain and say, I invite you. And I'm gonna meet you at this place at this time. If the girls start giving you a hard time, we don't like these girls. We say our guys to just move on. The lady need to agree for whatever you offer her in a reasonable manner, and she need to go with you. And of course, like if the lady is taking charge of where she's gonna go, of course she want to go to the most expensive restaurant. Yeah. Of course she want to order oysters for breakfast. Of course, like it's no doubt, like because she was waiting and sitting when you will take her out, like some Western guy will take her out on a date and she will eat this food. So, but with us, like our method is different. You should take her to the place that is not like McDonald's with their coffee, but something something small coffee where you can't spend more, because we don't see the point of spending a lot of money on the first date. You can go, you can have a coffee, and like honestly, the lady, I've been on hundreds of dates, right? Like as interpreter and wing woman. If the lady is serious, like maybe like one thing that she will ask, she will say, "Can I please get a glass of wine?" Because she's really nervous. But she will not gonna, like, if the lady is serious and if she take you seriously and she is coming on a date, she's not gonna eat all this like steaks, T-bones, strikers, and she's not gonna eat all that. She will be worried. She will be sitting there like, and be very like, maybe she will take a salad if she's meeting you after work or in your lunch break or something like that. But $40, trust me, it's absolutely normal price, and you just need to know places where to go and don't go to the touristic and expensive places.
Also, like if you like you're the one asking her out on a date, like we need to really put this into the right context and the right frame. And I'm very passionate about this. You're asking her to go out and do something. And the best way to think about it is that I'm going to go to this place here and I'm going to get something to eat. Would you like to join me? And if she's saying, no, I want to go somewhere else, you say, well, okay, you do that. I'm going here. If you want to join me for something to eat or something to drink, you can do that. You have no obligation whatsoever to make sure this woman is full of lobster and caviar and all this fancy food. That's not your obligation. She's not your girlfriend. Like, there's no reason for you to be going on these fancy dates. So that's why we say, go for a quick coffee, and if you like it, then you can choose to do that on your terms.
Stefan, you're very right. Stefan, he is the most commenting guy. Thank you. I appreciate your knowledge of Odessa and our area. Like, it's so cool. I adore when guys like really know everything so deep and so good. You're awesome. And yeah, Benedict, for example, it's a restaurant that serve breakfast 24/7. So you're coming there no matter when, 7 p.m., 12 a.m., whatever they say, good morning. And it has, I don't remember, Stefan, do you know, like I think it's 25 different breakfasts from all over the world. Yeah, I remember we've been there. And so they charge, like they from Ukrainian, like it's like a real Ukrainian one with shot of vodka with like really greasy thing, to Mexican and Canadian and English breakfast and etc. And the maximum, I think that Ukrainian, because they like really put so much stuff there, I think it's like 340 hryvnias or something like that. So it's what? It's $13 and you will be like not just full, you will be like just stuffed with food if you eat it there.
Yeah.
So
they have one in Arcadia. We'd always, after we went to the club, we would always end up there. And I remember always sitting there like eating a new breakfast as the sun comes up. So I remember it was cheap, and it's open 24 hours. It's a really interesting place to go to try different food. Milan is saying that he pays $1,500 a month in Kiev for an apartment. That sounds, I mean, if it's a nice apartment in a good area, $1,200 to $1,500. But you, like Milan, will be on a long-term lease, like 6 months or a year or something. A lot of the apartments that you'll be renting off Airbnb, they prefer to do daily rates because they make so much more money out of it than apartments. For example, my apartment costs $700 a month, which is, I mean, it's probably a little bit above what you can normally pay. I suppose you probably normally pay like $600.
No, but I told you why you pay this money. Because it's like a very nice, it's nice area, and also it's the quality of the house. I know that the guys like, it's hard to explain for the people like about the quality of the house, but it's actually very important. Remember when you stayed in Arcadia and you can hear everything from every single wall? Here you don't hear anybody.
Yeah, I like it. I like it as well.
Okay. Okay, let's go one by one because there's a lot of questions. Like while I answer one, you find another one. So what about stars of 75? It would be a good hotel, especially to be honest, like usually hotel costs about $100, but it depends on the season. It's more in summer. In Kiev hotels, there's a lot of them and they are more expensive. But for example, in Kharkov, there's a hotel, like the guys who've been in Kharkov, there's one hotel called Kharkiv Palace, and in front of that, it's called Kharkiv. And it's like Kharkiv Palace is like fancy one with like really, really stupidly expensive. And I think that Schwarzenegger stayed there. They have his leather coat there. And the one in front of it's like old Soviet Union building. They have like funny place for breakfast. It's not fancy, but like the cheapest room there cost $40 at the hotel with breakfast. But it's just a very, very simple room, like with just bed and, just very simple. But on the 15th floor, for example, there's a brand new rooms, like extremely clean, like with a glass shower, just like really really nice. And it cost, I don't know why I mentioned glass shower, and so yes, and it cost I think 75 in Kharkov, because this hotel is not that fancy, you know. And but it's very very nice rooms. It's like brand new, and so you just need to stay with us and know where to go.
Yeah, I think that also the like the star system, you know, like depending on, I've had this in many different other countries before. It's like they say it's 5-star and you turn up and it's like, this isn't like the 5 stars I've stayed in other countries. So yeah, it's you basically just have to look at the reviews as the way to check what hotel or apartment is going to be good. Yeah, okay. So it's entirely up to you guys how you do it. Now, the scenario that we've sort of painted for you guys is one that anybody could go and do. It could be a little bit more. You could do it on the cheap as well. But you don't have to. There's another way of doing it as well. We do actually have agencies that we recommend that have packages. They have, I guess you could call it a tour, where it's like may go for 2 weeks or 10 days or 15 days or whatever you work out with them. And you pay them a set fee. It would cost you more money, but you could also take off some of the price out of some of the items out of those prices, such as maybe apartment, depending on which one you choose, and all of the introduction fees, because they usually say it's unlimited introductions for the week or 2 weeks that you are there. But it's entirely up to you how you do it. There is benefits to doing it that way as well. You're dealing with one person, one interpreter. They look after you. They're sort of like they become like your wing woman, I suppose, in a way. So that's
Are you
another way
talking about our agencies that do packages?
to do the packages, yeah. So there's that way as well. So the way that we've approached this, like we've taken like my experience and Luba's experience as well and put it together, and plus all the guys that I've interacted with over the last like couple of years or so, and all the problems that they had, and try to fix it, try to come up with a solution that's not centered around like some agency owner making the most amount of money. And we give you all the information, and then you can make a decision that's best based on you, because everyone is different, whether it's a tour, whether it's individual dates. Maybe you just want to go on 3 dates, you just want to come and see the city. But no matter what, you have the information to make the right decision for you, and that's what it's all about.
Okay, question. One question is like for $4,300, it's for 7 days or 12, it's for 14 days. And another question that is, thank you, Frank, for asking. It's actually a good one. How much should you plan to spend if the interpreter goes for dinner with you and your date? So what I've seen, and like when this is a scam date, like interpreter gonna be no shy, no modest. Like she will just order the same as girl, and you will see that immediately. She will not even ask you if she can order something, and she would be just out of limit. Like she's gonna be unstoppable. Of course, when I know, and it depends, of course, like if like when I did my wing woman mission and I spent like 24 hours like in another city, of course, like my accommodation and my food is included. But you know, me and my girls, like who I know, we always stayed like very modest. So like if I go with a guy on a date, like I always ask, or he offer, you know, usually like the guy just offer. And like I think that for you would be the best if you say, would you like some salad? So that will limit her with your order, you know, like then she will not be able to order this and that. Or usually interpreters should share, like if you went, for example, to the sushi place, like she just share it with the lady, like they order 2 sets or something. Or you should just limit. Like the best advice that I come from my experience, it's 2 advices. Like first, if you communicate with a lady and like if you don't want her to ask you for money, like after you leave, you need to offer her first. The same with interpreter, with the same with everything. You just need to say that, you know, would you like some salad? And then it will limit her. Does this make sense?
That's kind of like I have a kind of a feeling on this, right? And I've remained fairly quiet about it. But the interpreter shouldn't. I mean, it's a courtesy to feed the interpreter. You know, it's like if somebody, like say somebody came to do some work on your house, you'd offer them a piece of cake and maybe some tea or something like that. But the interpreter is there to work. You're paying her to work.
I agree completely.
And if she's stuffing her face, it's like, what do you like? You need to like be translating for me. That's why I'm paying you. Like, So
it depends. Like if you
courtesy,
have an interpreter for many hours with you and you know that she didn't eat, like
yeah,
it's just polite. But if she came for a few hours, she shouldn't eat. She can drink coffee
yeah,
and that's all right. So I don't like, honestly, like it's painful for me when I hear the guys, and like usually these interpreters, they're getting like so big. So, and like you told even that like they become, because you need to
oh
eat,
yeah,
especially the girls who taking money back from the restaurant, they just need to eat it to get a bigger bill. So this is bad. But if you like, you can offer her, okay, if you don't want to offer her salad, just offer her with like some coffee. So it will limit her. She need to hear that, and it will limit her from ordering anything else, because we never know, there's like different guys, different clients, different circumstance. But of course, I believe that interpreter should be modest, and she came to work, she can't eat and like stuff your mouth
yeah.
with food while she need to translate. Okay, let's go fast, because there's many questions and we're losing them a little bit.
We're losing it. Okay.
Well,
How many hours date with interpreter in your budget? Okay, that's a good question. We included 20 hours of interpretation. So there's 10 first dates and 6 other dates. So they could be second, third, whatever, however you want to sort of place it. So 20. So that means that there's enough for all the first dates. There's enough for all the second dates, and maybe some more. So we've sort of gone a little bit over on that. So, and that's $17. Some of the 15, some of them are $20 an hour. It really varies. It's impossible to give an exact figure, but we've said $340 should be pretty close.
Yeah, really, guys, like if you are coming, I think that Stefan is talking about the place in Odessa. Everything he mentioned is very good. Strudel, Benedict, and Pierre Cafe, so it's all good. You just need to know, because like we've been talking to one of the guys recently, and he talked about, for example, one place, Jardin, in Odessa, and it's not recommended restaurant. And another stuff, like it's just, even for normal people, it's French restaurant. It's extremely beautiful, extremely, but it is like just extremely expensive. And we have a restaurant, Ablaka, that I adore. It has like, it's like 360 view, and the price is like, every time we come, it's like, it's not cheap, but it's like, it's normal price, and it's not overpricing. So you just need to know where to go.
Yeah, it's actually like, I actually get really pissed off when I hear about like some of these restaurants, and you go in there and they're just like amazing, like restaurants that you just wouldn't even see in your home country, yet they're giving money back to the girls. It's really, it really sucks, because it's like you really want to go there and check them out, but man, they're just gonna, you know that they're involved in that scamming, which means that I'm not going to give them any money. I found that renting an apartment using a service like Booking is much cheaper than renting a hotel room. Yeah, I agree with that. Like I've always used booking.com, but when I started coming to Ukraine was when I really started using Airbnb. So I find that, for Airbnb, for the apartments, more private dwellings, that's better, but I've always used Booking as well. It's been pretty good. But yeah, Booking can be a little bit expensive, but sometimes you get some good deals. Okay, so
about interpreter, Striker has a good, I like. So there's a guy GBF. He's asking what is the best way to get an interpreter. Striker, please. I just like how you say that. Like there are agencies that are offer you interpreter for like $5 or $10. I don't know these agencies. I heard from the guys, and they just say that there's a cheaper way. But these interpreters are just like interpreters who either translating some documents. They don't have a very good speaking skills, because they usually do it like technical translation, as we call it here. And Striker will tell you the benefits, why it's better for you to take an interpreter.
Well, a lot of people think the interpreter is just, it's more of like a hindrance than anything else. It's something that you have to kind of do, and the cheaper it is, the better it is. And like when I went on my first company that I went to, I had an interpreter, and she was absolutely lovely. But when it came to any sort of real advice or any sort of knowledge of life skills or anything, she was only very young, and she just started. It was like her second time she was there. So there's not really much that she can offer you, right? I have more experience in life than what she does. She just is going to translate the words backwards and forwards. But you need to take someone who knows the industry, because the industry is pretty gritty and dark and brutal. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. But if you know someone that knows what's going on and they can check for certain things, if you take a student from the university and pay her $4 an hour or $5 an hour, she's just going to interpret. She's not going to care because she doesn't understand what's going on. And I've said it before that like Luba, like she asked these questions to the girl to figure out if she really is serious or if she's just wasting time. She'll look at like how she's dressed, her shoes, try and weigh up her story in her mind, in Luba's mind, to figure out, you know, what's actually going on. Are they going to be a good fit? Does she want to move to a country, to the country or to the city? So the interpreter can do a lot more than just interpret backwards and forwards, because, you know, I never actually, only a few, like very few dates that I went on that needed a translator. And for me, I didn't really enjoy it. Some guys don't care. In fact, they could it could be translated or not translated. And Luba has successful couples of guys that met a woman, got married, moved to the United States and all that stuff, who never spoke any English. But for me, I didn't feel comfortable doing it, but it's entirely up to you. But to have a good translator that can fully really, you know, take what she has said, maybe just rearrange it a little bit and then give it to the guy so it doesn't sound wrong. Is that sort of what you kind of do, Luba?
Yeah, I also want to say.
Can I just say that there's one thing you've told me before, like when you were translating, I think it was at a social, and the lady was like talking away. Then when you translated it, it was like one sentence or two sentences or something like that. And the guy's like, but she was talking for ages, and you had to take away the fluff. And the fluff was, I'm not really sure what I should say about this.
Yeah. Like this is like this. All the guys are usually caught on that, because they say that, you know, Luba, she was just like really like that's all. And yes, guys, sometimes it is true, because the girls can be like, oh, what should they say? Like help me. And there's so many words in between. But what I want to say is that very important that like, of course, the agency that we work with and we recommend, work with that we recommend, and I've been visiting by myself, because all agencies, like I know personally, the agencies that we offer with our course and our program, so you will have an interpreter. They will give you a good interpreter, but it can happen that they have like new girl, and don't be shy to say. And don't think that you will hurt your feelings or something. If you don't feel it, if you don't think that it is the right interpreter, you should tell and change. You shouldn't like, when I was working for one of the big companies at the social, like there was guys, like there's some girls who are really good and professional, some girls who are newer. And the guy were like, he was staying, I seen that he's angry. He was like upset. And I came and said, what's up? He said, like, this interpreter, she don't understand me. Of course, like some guys has a strong accent. It's hard to understand. But he was angry inside, and he didn't tell it to anybody, because like they would change it, or at least I think that, you know, if they ask, they would change. So if you don't like an interpreter, it's important for you to have this connection with interpreter when she understands you, but you know your interest. So don't be like, if you think that there's something's wrong is going on, just like ask for another one, and it's completely normal. And interpreter, it is.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, interpreter, it is important, because I've seen so many situations like what sometimes happened when I have a client and agency, not our agencies, but like when I've been working for other companies, like they don't want their girl to go without interpreter. But my guys, when I've been their wing woman, they want to meet this girl so bad that he agreed to pay for interpreter as well. And one time it was ridiculous story when the lady, like this interpreter, she was of course she was pissed off that I'm there. Of course she was like, she didn't like it because she need to work. Because usually like these bad agencies, what they do, the girl's talking about some whatever, like, well, how do you like my concealer, my highlighter? Like, do you think it's fine? Tell him something. And then the interpreter she said that she really enjoyed like the story of your dog. And then another, like they keep talking about their highlighters and cosmetics. So of course she must work. And then these two people, they have dogs. They have this Chihuahua, and she translates something so bad about what he told about her dog. It was something about treatments, and he mean treats like candies, like some, you know, some things for dogs, like some cookies, and she translate like, how do you treat your lady, like how to treat your dog, like how do you treat, what medication you gave. And for these two people, these dogs were like kids. It was more important than kids, and they were so upset, like, how can you think that my dog is sick? And I was like, whoa. He just asked like what kind of cookies you give, what kind of treats you give. So this interpreter didn't really care, and so it's important to have a good one. Okay, enough about that.
So Kyle is
Um,
saying, isn't an interpreter a short-term problem to a short-term solution to a long-term problem? You know, it really depends on how you view this. I mean, some people make these relationships work. She has to, if she's moving to his country, whether it's USA or UK or whatever, she understands that she has to learn English. So that needs to be a priority for her. So if she's learning English, then I don't really see the problem. A lot of depending on the age, they know English already and they pick it up pretty fast. It's just that they don't use it. So yeah, I mean, it depends on how you view it. I mean, I think that there is, especially if you're going to an agency, because every guy, if the lady speaks good English on her profile, all the guys go to that because they're looking for a lady that speaks English. If there's a lady that doesn't speak English, they're not going to have as much demand for her. And that is a little bit of a benefit that we actually talk about in the course, where you can actually sometimes get a woman that is well out of your league at an agency, because guys normally try and date the ladies that do speak English. So they get lots of requests and lots of dates. So it is a problem, but I mean, it's definitely not the end of the world problem. It's definitely, I mean, Kyle, like, you know, there are worse problems that you have to overcome, as you know. But
As to Milan is right, why not to learn Russian? Of course, we recommend guys to learn Russian. And of course, like I was talking to one of our partners, and he said, because he's doing translation by himself, he said, I try to get rid of that. I don't really want to translate. Like I want you guys to try to communicate by yourself. But I see, and there's just different people. Don't get me wrong. Some guys looking for the lady with a child, some guys looking for the lady without a child. Somebody looking for, big age gap, somebody looking for 2 years age gap. So you all are different. And there's some guys who they only looking for a lady who speaks English. It's your choice. There's some guys who don't care. But I think that if there's a lady who doesn't speak English, and if she's like, there's some ladies who are very active, like she will try, she will make mistakes, but she will talk to you. Like I recently, this quarantine is like already. So I've been on a date, and like the lady, she spoke like different words, like she was putting them in the wrong order. He was laughing. It was so enjoyable. And I even have a couple with whom I went on one date as interpreter. The next day they went on a beach, and it was funny. The guy, it was a long time ago, and he said, Luba, how much do they cost you so you not show up tomorrow? I can't understand what he mean, but it was funny. The lady was a little bit like, it's an older couple, and they went on the beach. She took her dictionary from the school, like giant book, and they were like sitting and like, it's how they communicate. It all depends on your desire and like depends on the personality. There are some ladies who are a little bit shy, she's a little bit like, she maybe knows some, but she's scared. So she needs this push. She needs to see that she's comfortable with you. She needs to relax with you. And as soon as she is relaxed, as soon as she is open, everything gonna be fine. Of course, interpreter not gonna go with you everywhere, and we try to limit that as much as possible. So it's just,
I mean, you can use things like Google Translate or translators to translate. They're not accurate. They sometimes take things out of context. But I mean, you're looking for that feeling of closeness, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be like what you're saying. And sometimes like what people say is sometimes doesn't work out that well anyway. I think there's more of it. There's more levels to it, And the guy, and I don't understand it because I never went down that path. But I guarantee there are guys out there who fell in love with a woman that didn't speak their language. They made it work, and they'll tell you a completely different story of like, you can make it work. So maybe we'll find someone who can come on the channel and explain that. But I get it, and I understand it from both sides. How
should you start?
Oh, sorry. How should you start from the end? Okay. How dating over in Ukraine? How should you start? Well, the first thing is, and this is not what I did. Okay, so you need to do pretty much the exact opposite of what I did. I just went over to Ukraine as if I was going on holiday. Well, no, not even that really, because I signed up with one of these tour companies, and it was a really terrible idea. I don't regret it because it led on to other things, but I know that if that was all there was, I probably wouldn't be that happy with it. But definitely don't do that. Definitely do your research and understand even just the geography of Ukraine, where you can go, and try and learn the differences between the Western culture and Ukrainian culture. You have to learn these, because if you just believe what the title of all these videos say, and there's so many of them now popping up, and it's like, why Ukrainian women want Western men? and you click on it, and it's like this amazing social with these older, like 70-year-old guys dancing with these 20-year-old women, and that's the video. So you were Googling something that was very legitimate, and you end up on this like spammy, scammy channel, and all of a sudden you're paying to go to like one of these socials with all these beautiful women. Like that's so bad. Like you got stuck in the spider's web when that happened. Try and understand the differences, okay? Try and understand what companies have your best interests at heart, what companies are, just pushing through the guys, just follow. I don't want to say too much bad about other companies, but just watch our channel and just understand what's going on out there. That's it, and make a decision that's right for you.
The biggest advantage that I would say, and that I see when I help my clients in, like, we're coming on my Wing Woman mission, is that it's very important to have this flexibility. It's very important to have the freedom of choice, to meet this lady or not to meet this lady, to go to this city or not to go, spend 5 days or 6 days. Like, this is what man is about, I believe. That you don't want to join somebody, like going by bus, like, following somebody. You want to make a decision. If you feel comfortable to stay, you want to stay. Like what happened, I've been in September, I went to Kharkov and Dnipro with a client, and he met a lady in Kharkov that he really likes, and then he met a lady in Dnipro that he likes even more. And we were going to meet. We even set up a date with that lady in Kharkov, but he just realized that he don't want it. He said, "Luba, can we cancel? We have a bus ride between two cities." And he said, "Luba, I don't want. Can we cancel?" I said, "Of course." And it's like, yes, we lose a little bit. Like I think, I don't remember if we returned anything, but like it was a little bit of money, $10-20 that we lose, and that's it. And we stayed, and he wanted. If it would be a tour, of course, there's some guys that, like, they stay there, they can stay, and then they need to find their own way. But here, you can make a decision by yourself. And also, the most important is that you're meeting the ladies. Striker left. It's that you're meeting the ladies who are who you're gonna meet, and the ladies who are waiting for you. So they're aware that you're coming, and you are coming not on an empty space. You're coming on, coming on. It was a little bit shocking. So you're coming on something. It's a coronavirus, stay home. So you're coming on a prepared base when you know who you're gonna date and who you're gonna meet. So this is what I think the most important. And of course, comparing, like, the price is also a big deal, because I know that guys, like, we just been talking with a guy, and he said that he spent $14,000 on one trip, like, coming with the tour. So I think it's very expensive.
Yeah,
with this 4,300. Just 1 second. With these 4,300, maybe on top it will be, like, if you like everything luxury, and maybe you want to do something crazy, like whatever, helicopter ride, it can be like maybe 1,000 or 2,000 more expensive, but still it's not that bad.
Yeah, so a lot of people say you got a budget between $10,000 and $15,000, depending on how much you want to spend. So on what I'm looking at on my screen over here that Luba has as well, we have a calculator, and the total budget that we put in there to see sort of how it would work out was $10,000. It was on the lower end of what people would spend. And if you put into it everything that we worked it out to be, you still have a difference of $5,720, which is basically another trip. So, and it's not about trying to make a cheap way to do this, okay? It's about giving value, because look, if you went on one of these VIP tours that cost $15,000 and you met your wife on there and you got married and you're happy, in 10 years' time, someone says to you, was it worth it? Of course, you're going to say yes. You'd probably pay 10 times as much, 20 times as much. But if it doesn't work, you want to be able to pick yourself up and go, okay, like what else is next? At least I only lost this much, and that's part of it, whether it works or whether it doesn't work. If you've spent $4,000 or $15,000, it hasn't worked. You haven't really gained anything from it. So,
Striker, What is gopnik? Rama is asking, what is gopnik?
Who's asking that?
Rama Bala, I'm sorry, I can't read it.
What is a gopnik? Gopnik.
Gopnik, it's this Russian guy who's like.
I don't know how to answer that question.
You have to email us and we're gonna give you a big open answer. Barry, you're asking about Imbro form and etc. You can give us a call and I will explain everything to you. You are 60, it's not late at all if you're realistic and if you're looking for a reasonable age gap. My latest couple, he's 64, she's 52. They're extremely happy. She looks awesome, and every age is can be happy. Every age should be happy. Every person in every age, but you should be realistic as well.
This question's good. How long should you stay in Ukraine and have enough time in hand to make things happen? Like, this is such a wide open question, and even both Luba and I, we have our own kind of thoughts on this. You know, like we understand that you can only come for what you can come for. So it's like, whether it's 2 months or 3 months or 4 months, if you can only come for 2 or 3 weeks, that's all you can come for. You can't change that, you know. So the longer the better is the answer. The longer that you can stay, because I've told this story a few times before in my videos, that I came for a very short period of time, about 3 weeks, I think, and then I ended up meeting a woman, and we spent all of this time together, and I ended up staying over here pretty much until I had to leave. Otherwise, I would have got kicked out, which was around about 3 months. But just before I left, I called off the relationship because I saw that it wasn't going to go anywhere because of we had different values, I should say. That's probably the best way to say that. So I called it off. So I was here for 3 months, and it still didn't work. So there's no right time to stay there. If I'd stayed for 1 month, I would have left, and it probably would have worked. You know, I would have seemingly worked, I suppose. So there's no right or wrong answer for that, but it is a very good question. You just kind of have to just do it, man, and just, everybody is different, but longer the better. Didn't really help, did I? I probably just made things worse. Sorry.
Okay. You know, somebody said money. Unfortunately, when we have costs, I have to say that it does cost money. You know, you need to, like, there is no way. There's some guys, he like only prefer to eat in like some buffet and want to take this girl to this buffet that like the lunch and dinner and everything can cost their like $10 a day. So it just it doesn't work this way. Like, if you're really looking for the Ukrainian lady, it's not that she's gonna you know, use you or eat like this expensive food, but it will cost you money. Everything costs money. And we didn't, like, we were going to discuss a little bit about some ideas for dates and like the pricing, right? So
okay.
Yeah, so for example, like just a brief idea, it's I put here, for example, horseback riding will cost you $20 a person per hour with with the trainer. Like, she will help you. Some guys really enjoy it because the ladies really think that it's very cool. Some guys, they don't like it because a lot of guys from America, they know how to ride a horse, and they don't like when they like somebody need to walk with them there, but they, like, because of the safety rules and the security, they can't let you ride the horse by yourself in some places.
Can I just add something in here, which I think is very important? I'll forget otherwise if I don't say now. But with the horseback riding, like, I don't like horses. Like, they scare me, like they're going to kick me in the face or something if I do something wrong. But there are some guys out there who have been around horses. Maybe they trained horses, they rode horses. If you were to take a woman on a date and you know about horses, we call that like your place of power. It's a place where you can take her on a second date and you can shine. If you didn't know anything about horses and you were kind of scared of horses, she's not going to look at you and go, like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. We've talked about it before, about that the second date should be a place of your power, a place where you can shine, and she can see your confidence. She can see you, like, just take, for example, that one there, which was the horse. You're petting the horse and you're like some kind of animal, like horse whisperer. You know, and the horse is taking a like she's going to see that and she's going to be impressed with that, rather than like the horse like rearing up and you falling off. Continue with what you're saying, Luke. I just wanted to say that.
Okay. Yes, I agree, because a lot of girls, they, for example, tell, let's go to the ice rink. And, you know, if you're not really good at that, like, you don't really, like, it can be fun, but later on, when you know each other better, and when you're falling and you're laughing, and it's kind of like even romantic in some places, it's cool. But on a second date, Striker is right. Like, you need to go somewhere where you're going to be like, follow me, my lady. And
you're going to be the man. Yeah.
You're going to be the man. I don't like to say this like you're gonna be a man, because it's usually like the guys who got scammed, they message us and they say, she just said that I'm not a man enough. Like I just hear like this, like it's like very, very common excuse for these girls, like you're just not man enough because you didn't send me $1,000 for shoes.
Yeah, but when we
You
say it, it's not
loser.
it's like the man. It's like a saying. I don't know. It comes
The
from like
man.
the 80s. The man.
No,
Yeah.
I understand what you mean, but
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
So for example, dolphin show. Dolphin show. Want to stop here for a second. So the show cost $15, and it's a really beautiful show. You can also go, I think Friday or Saturday night, that they have like they call it romantic show. It's 9 p.m. and it's like it has more like music and saxophone and like and etc. But also what they do, they offer pictures. The pictures with dolphin cost I think another $20, and they also offer their swimming with dolphins. So sometimes like it's a little bit like awkward because the ladies sometimes want to do it and you don't expect to spend so much money, on that. So you need to understand that, at approximately I give you pricing like that swimming with the dolphins costs like $100, just so because some guys really like it and they do it. But dolphin show can be a good activity. You can go to escape room that that we really like. It's different, but I want to stop here that it can be a scam as well. So escape room usually cost about $20 to $30. There's some escape rooms a little bit like fancier, I would say. They cost maximum $50, but I know because like like that I know from some resorts, it doesn't matter, that they arrange it so they agreed like on the site with these rooms, and they overcharge Western guys, so it shouldn't cost more than $50 in no way. I mean, of course, like if there's like 55, 60, but it shouldn't be like more than 100 and etc. And also cool idea is to go to some concert. And now of course we like give some resources. There's like the website where it's even have an English version of that, where you can get tickets to any concert. And if it is like somewhere and you can go somewhere to your favorite singer and you can dance. For you it doesn't matter because it will be just music. And I know that the monk, for example, enjoy Russian and Ukrainian music. He listen it while driving, so it is nice music. It will be dancing music, and she will be very happy to go to the concert of any star. So you can just discuss it with her. The tickets will start cost from $10 and can finish. Usually, it's not more than $100. If it is not like some superstar, then it should be not more than that. So concerts, escape rooms, dolphins, horseback riding.
Sorry, I'll just say something just quickly in there, otherwise I'll forget again. But I always think that if you really like the lady, then the second date should be something that's going to instill some emotions in here, and preferably good emotions. Like
no, you like to jump from the bridge, I know.
Well, not always, but if you can, jump off a bridge. But do something that's exciting, something that when she thinks about you after that second date, those feelings are going to come back to her. That's the association that she's going to have with you, as opposed to just going out for dinner. Going out for a fancy dinner on the third date is great because it's another time to connect. But we always say the first and second date is about qualification, and if it sounds pretty horrible, don't worry, she's qualifying you, and she's got no problem in telling you, or not agreeing to meet you again. So a second date, and like impress her, but not impress her with money, but impress her with a good feeling inside her. Cool. Okay, we'll just go through some last questions.
Yeah, Rodney, it seems that you comment on every our video. We really appreciate that. It would be good to finally see who you are and like get in touch with you. Our email. Just please contact us anytime, and we will.
Rodney, you're always asking about like our services and
help, and like if there's some urgency and like if you're in trouble, we're gonna help you.
We have a website that took me like 5 years to build, so please have a look at it. Send us an email through there.
5 years?
No,
I didn't know something.
Yeah,
but it was
cool, man. Okay, well, if you guys got any other questions, ask them now or forever. Hold your silence.
Orchestra, there's like orchestra in opera house, and they travel around Ukraine. It's a symphony orchestra. It's not just like some classic music. It's for example from the Oscar movies or some, I want to say bestsellers, but how you call movies when they're like super super famous blockbusters and all cool music, so they have a big screen, so there's many concerts that you can join and don't need to know the language. And for example, with one guy we went, it was in Dnipro and it was in Philharmonic. It was like such a bad building for some reason, like it was my first time there, but it was like some Italian evening. It was so awesome, people were so talented, they have such a great time, such a good vibe. So concert music, it's always awesome.
There was actually something that I saw the other day, just quickly, and it's called like rock. It's at the Opera House in Odessa, and it's like the orchestra in the big opera house, and they play like Metallica and System of a Down, and it was like you just wouldn't expect it, but something like that would be kind of cool if she was into that kind of music. Barry says jumping off a bridge at skydiving is a good way to build trust. That's true, like that really is, and I have a very good story about that I've told a few times before, but it really is like when I did it, it did really work, like on a level that you cannot believe. Okay, all right. Well, thanks, guys. I mean, it's been an hour. We're sorry to keep you so long, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video, and it's given you some idea about what it actually costs, because it is hard to figure out if you've never been over there. You have no idea what things cost. People always talk about how cheap things are. Like, they are cheap, but how cheap? You know, so
but like compare, like if you put it together, then the price will just like build up, and you just need to know that it cannot be cheap, and you will
here's
need
the thing.
to.
Like, here's the thing, Libra. It's like it's relative to whatever the person is willing to spend or how much money that they make, if that makes sense. Like, some people don't make a lot of money, so this is a lot of money. Some people make a lot of money, so it's not. So it's relative, but this is what it really is. So if this is too expensive to do, maybe you don't do it. Or if this is
I agree. Or maybe like do it a little bit later, because it's really sad, like when the guy can't afford it or he spent the last money, and I've seen it so many times, and he's just not feeling comfortable, and he first, like in some way he can't say no to her, and from another side, like he can't afford it. So it's really bad. But of course, knowing everything, like doing the course, getting the contacts, getting the legit agencies, and etc., of course it's gonna optimize your pricing. It optimize it make it more better decision.
Yeah. So anyway, if you guys ever want to have a Skype call with us, do it. Like, we're brutally honest. In fact, we've had Skype calls where we've kind of like made the guy, we had one where the guy, after the call, he decided it wasn't for him, and we actually felt good about it.
I want to say about that. We felt very good. We're not trying to sell any, like, we did create a product that we're really proud of, and especially, I don't know who is more proud, me or you. Probably same, because like for me it's so important to educate, like it's like a kid, it's our kid, because like it's so we really want guys to be educated. It's extremely nice when people are calling us and say that they trust us and they see that we're honest. And I got a call from my aunt and uncle from New York, and they kind of knew what am I doing, but not really, and they, for some reason, like on coronavirus quarantine, they were watching the videos. It's a very nice feedback, and we really, from all our heart, we want to do our best. And we just think that for some guys, coming to Ukraine, it's an option, for somebody not. So it's better to know before you come, and don't trust like some advertising. Just make the right decisions. We don't want to say much. If you want to get a private consultation when we're going to tell you more, of course, do it. Thank you very much. Please stay healthy, stay safe, and we're going to do live video next Saturday. And we're gonna announce topic.
What are we announcing? We should have discussed this before we.
No, I said that we're gonna announce it later. No, we're gonna. Yeah, it's gonna be surprise.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing. I think we might talk about like what we offer in our service and what we've kind of been working on. And the thing is like, even though there's the lockdown, and we kind of launched it just before the lockdown, and we had about 10 guys or so sign up that have been testing it. We've still been working on it. Like, I'm still working on it full time to get it ready for when it does open. It's like the next stage. So stay tuned for that. That will be next Saturday.
Next Monday we're gonna have a new, I don't know, maybe on Saturday they're gonna announce anything, because Monday is kind of like the day when we're gonna be out of quarantine. But I definitely will make an update as soon as I know anything. Guys, we really appreciate your support. Everybody who was with us, like, it's extremely important. We do it for you. You are our support. We know that we have you, then we inspire to create more. And we're gonna see you next time.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.